I had AI analyze Fred Atchley's page to see if it meets the criteria outlined in the Supreme Court case that I mentioned earlier. And this is what it came back with. The Linkey versus Freed test determines if social media activity constitutes state action, making the account a public forum subject to First Amendment restrictions on blocking or deletion. Now, on the actual authority to speak on behalf of the state, as a Tennessee state representative elected in November 2024, Mr. Atchley has inherent authority under state law to communicate about legislative matters, grants, public policy, and constituent services. Now, this prong, it's satisfied, as his role grants him authority to inform the public on General Assembly actions. Now, on the case of purporting to exercise that authority, his post clearly exercised this authority by announcing legislation, securing and publicizing state funding, providing official public service updates, talking about the real ID requirements, and highlighting his role in state events such as the swearing in and education advocacy. The page's description and content purport to represent his official duties, not personal views. Even if it started as a campaign page, it's been repurposed for governance and it meets the criterion as courts examine specific posts rather than the account's origin. There was a companion case heard in 2024 by the Supreme Court, which I mentioned earlier, O'Connor-Ratliff versus Garnier, that reinforces that accounts used as tools of governance, like official announcements and constituent engagement, which is something that Fred is afraid to do but uses social media for. Now, his page completely fits this definition with no mixed personal or official use evidence. And AI concluded that it does meet the criteria. His page meets the criteria for an official social media account that cannot arbitrarily block individuals or delete their comments. It functions as a public forum under the Linkey versus Freed, where viewpoint-based restrictions would violate the First Amendment. Now, any moderation must be viewpoint neutral, meaning rules against spam or threats that are applied consistently and documented in a public policy. The policy for moderation is one of the items I requested in my open records request. Crickets from him and his team, and it's way past the 7 days required by law to respond. As I mentioned earlier, this story is still developing, and I'll let you all know how it works out in the end.